Throughout history, countless tales recount animals aiding or even rescuing humans from dire situations. Yet there are moments when these creatures, whether they be loyal dogs or mighty predators, find themselves in need, turning to us for assistance. In this video, we'll explore captivating moments when animals seek help from humans. Expect the unexpected and come along for a riveting journey. Swans. Sometimes, even just going for a walk, we can do something useful for another living creature. These hikers came to the aid of two swans which were entangled in each other's necks. They heard their cries from a distance and decided to check to see what was wrong. As one of the guys got closer, he realized that the two swans were so tired of fighting for their lives that they weren't even able to move. When the swans saw the man, they swam for a while and then got closer to the shore, asking for help with the last of their strength. The guy had to put in a lot of persistence and patience, but in the end, he managed to free them both. That's how indifference and a couple of minutes of human attention saved two lives. When you're out for a walk, you probably listen to the animals more often. Many of them are often in trouble and hope for help from passersby. The swans were helped, and the following animals from this video were helped as well. Let's move on. Puppy. Another dog story. It took place in Russia in the Yakut village of Namzi. This year, one of the employees was working at the road workers base when he suddenly noticed something strange. One of the local dogs ran up to him and started behaving unusually, running around, barking, and calling after him. It was obvious something was wrong. The employee followed the dog and soon learned the reason for its anxiety. The dog led into the bitumen tank with the puppy at the bottom. The little puppy accidentally got caught in the viscous captivity. This is unpleasant in itself, but the weather was also hot, which made the baby feel very bad. Every minute counted. They had to save the poor puppy urgently. The employee called the local animal shelter workers, and they went to get the puppy out of the bitumen. The little baby had been in the tank for so long that it got completely dirty down to its fur. Fortunately, they rescued the puppy in time. It was soon washed up, and the mother dog thanked the rescue workers by whining and licking their hands. Dogs. Unfortunately, dogs sometimes suffer due to human stupidity or indifference. Innocent creatures can be helped, though. Sometimes, those who care about the fate of our furry friends come to their aid, even in the most terrible conditions. One such story was the rescue of 6 dogs who had been left in their cages when the water, which had flooded the area because of Hurricane Florence, was rising fast. A touching video posted on Twitter by freelance reporter Marcus DePaula shows the animals whimpering as volunteer Ryan Nichols of Longview, Texas, approaches them. After being released from their cages, the frightened dogs swim to dry land and run away from the water. Luckily, the volunteers arrived just in time when the water was not yet too high in the cages, so the dogs only got off with the fright. The animals are fine. Squirrels. Squirrels are some of the cutest animals on the entire planet. I wish there were more squirrels in the forest and parks, but unfortunately, these statistics are not consoling. As statistics show, the overwhelming majority of squirrels do not live long enough to be 1 year old. Humans also play a certain role in this. For example, this footage shows a little squirrel entangled in a fishing line left by some fishermen who obviously didn't think about wildlife. The little baby couldn't get out on its own, so it just lay on the ground and asked for help from every passerby. Luckily, 2 not indifferent guys were walking by. They had scissors with them, so they carefully cut the fishing line and freed the little squirrel from captivity. The little baby was so happy that at first, it didn't even want to let the guys go and started playing with them. After thanking its rescuers, the little squirrel jumped to the ground and rushed off into the foliage. Turtle. Giant amounts of plastic in the ocean are a huge problem today. It affects an incredible number of marine animals. If you think that's an exaggeration or even a myth, this footage will dissuade you. It shows an olive ridley sea turtle stranded on the coast of Costa Rica near a local wildlife refuge with a plastic fork stuck in its nose. Obviously, there was no way the animal could get rid of the annoying object on its own, so it had only to wait for people and ask them for help. The fork was hurting the turtle, making it hard to eat and hard to breathe. Fortunately, the turtle was lucky. A team of olive ridley sea turtle population researchers was walking through the local wildlife refuge that day, along with tourists. As soon as the scientists approached the turtle, they immediately realized what was wrong and helped the poor animal. Leopards. Leopards are very dangerous cats that often lunge at people and hurt them, but even such powerful predators sometimes need help and ask people for it. This footage shows a leopard with its head stuck in a can. Apparently, the predator was very thirsty, so it literally rushed headfirst into the water. Carelessness led the leopard into a trap. It couldn't pull its head out on its own. The leopard wandered blindly until it strayed into an Indian village. The locals weren't afraid of the spotted guest and decided to help it. They called the vets, and they began to remove the can. They soon realized that it would be better to put the leopard to sleep. They injected a soporific, freed the predator from the trap, and then took it back to its natural habitat. I hope that the leopard's all right and that it won't forget the active people and will not lunge at them, unlike its congeners. Sharks. Sharks are dangerous creatures, let alone injured sharks. In this state, these sea creatures could begin to take out their anger on any moving object, but sometimes things are different. A few years ago, Joshua Eccles, a professional diver from Florida, was making another dive off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Suddenly, he was approached by a lemon shark, a dangerous sea creature. After the shark swam dangerously close, it seemed to start swimming away, but then abruptly changed its mind, turned around, and headed straight for Eccles. Joshua was alarmed by the shark's behavior, so he took a closer look at it. It turned out that the shark was asking Joshua for help. There was a large metal hook lodged in its abdomen, and there was no way the fish could get out on its own. With extreme care, Joshua was able to pull the hook out and help prevent a possible infection from developing. The lemon shark was successfully rescued. Sperm whale. A similar situation happened to a sperm whale while divers were diving. This giant swam up to them and started behaving strangely. It showed with all its appearance that there was something wrong with it. The divers soon realized that the sperm whale was asking for help. It turned out that the sperm whale had a fishing hook stuck in its mouth. One of the divers began to help the whale while the other took rare footage. In general, sperm whales are considered very dangerous animals, especially when wounded, as they're very aggressive. But this wasn't the case. This sperm whale was calm and friendly while being treated. It even intentionally opened its mouth wide to make it easier for the diver to work. Soon, the problem was solved, and the sperm whale got the necessary help. It thanked the diver, and the latter stroked the giant. Eagle. In all the previous stories, the animals were helped for a relatively short time. After a few seconds, minutes, or hours, they were rescued from the trouble and released, but this last story is different from all the previous ones. The main character of the story is a female bald eagle named Beauty. Back in 2005, the American ornithologist Jane Cantwell found Beauty with a deformed beak. It had been damaged by a poacher's gunshot. The bird couldn't eat or drink and would simply die without help. It was decided to take Beauty for rehabilitation. The vets fed the eagle through a tube for a long time. Only after a long time did Beauty receive full health using a 3D printer. A new beak was specially printed for it, and Beauty can now drink, eat, and clean its feathers. However, the vets decided not to let Beauty out in the wild, because even with such a cool prosthesis, it would still be very difficult to get used to the wild. That's all, guys. Have you ever helped an animal that needed help or rescue? Share your stories in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you later.